Hi, folks. I'm Diane Ladd, and I've been talking to you about how the carnivore diet has reversed nearly 100% of my symptoms of MS. But there's one subject that I have been avoiding at all cost, and that is my weight. Because, you see, as I was following this carnivore diet and hearing all of your stories of tremendous weight loss and losing 100 pounds, losing 50 pounds, losing 60 pounds, that wasn't happening to me. And so I decided very early on that I was going to avoid that because that's not why I started the carnivore diet. I started the carnivore diet for health reasons. A little bit of background information on myself. I have been a chronic dieter my entire life. I went on my first diet at 5 years old. My mother put me on the diet because I was a chubby little girl. My parents thought that it would be a good idea for me to lose weight. Did it ever work? Not when I was 5. It just really made me feel as though everyone else was allowed to eat and I wasn't. That's how it went. So as a teenager, always on diets. As a young adult, always on diets. Way more than I could even remember. Of course, I've been on the famous Weight Watchers diet. I've been on Diet Workshop diet, which is I think a local company that doesn't, it's not around here anymore. I've been on the cabbage soup diet. I've been on the low fat diet. I've been on the no fat diet. I've been on Jenny Craig. In my 20s, I became a fitness instructor and I taught aerobics. I taught water aerobics. I became a personal trainer in my 30s. I have always lifted weights, taken exercise classes, and always been focused on my weight and my fitness levels. That's just what I've done. So when I started the carnivore diet, I wanted to make a switch. I wanted to say, you know what? I'm not doing this thing for weight. I'm doing this thing for health. And really put that out there as my goal. But I have to tell you, still weighed myself every day. Still never counted calories, but still kind of focused on how much am I eating and just kind of like moving to a high fat, all meat diet. I did fear fat. I did. I had to let go of that. And I have. I've let go of that totally. I do not this day, I have to say honestly, I don't fear the fat. Because I found that it's beneficial to me. Because in 3 weeks, I've told you this, after following the carnivore diet strictly for 3 weeks, my symptoms started going away. And to me, that was, first of all, why I started. Secondly, that was way more important to me than how much I weighed. But how I weighed and how I looked was still very important to me. So I totally get it, especially the women. I don't want to single out one sex over the other, but I know that women in the society are very concerned about how they look and how much they weigh. With that being said, I'm going to be totally transparent with you. When I started the carnivore diet March 5th, 2024, I weighed 170 pounds, which was overweight for me. It wasn't the most that I've weighed. I have weighed 195, not pregnant. It wasn't the least that I weighed. I have weighed 130, not pregnant. I won't even tell you how much I weighed pregnant because that was really high. All right, I'll tell you. I was 210 when I delivered my first son. And I think I was 220 when I delivered my second. And I don't think I weighed myself with the third one. I don't think I paid attention. So my weight has been very high. My weight has been very low. I've worn small sizes. I've worn large sizes. And so I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that point where I started at 170, it was kind of like in the middle of where I lived as far as weight goes. I'm 5'4", almost 5'5". I think at one point I was 5'5", 5'4.5" maybe. So I'm not very tall, is what I'm getting at. So to carry that much weight, probably not a good thing. And my doctor, talked to me about it, and at one point recommended the keto diet. So this was 2023, 2022. I was on the keto diet, and I had a medical thing that happened where I couldn't eat. My weight went really down, and then I ballooned up again as soon as I could eat. So up and down, yo-yo dieting, yo-yo weight. That's where I was for most of my life. So starting the carnivore diet, I did a diet for my health. 170, March 5th. Well, April 13th, I was 163. Not bad for a little over a month, right? But and I know, we all know, that was a lot of water weight. So probably a couple of pounds of fat, mostly water weight. So 163 is where I went to. And then 158, September 4th. So the whole summer long, from April 13th to September 4th, 4 pounds. I continued to eat when I was hungry, stop when I was full. Only ate animal products. And I think at the time I was eating some dairy, so that could have contributed to it. But I wasn't eating a lot of dairy, and I think at that point I decided to stop. Just focus on beef, mostly beef and lamb, a little bit of chicken, a little bit of seafood. May 2nd, 2025. So I went all the way from September 4th to May 2nd. So October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 8 months. 8 months, folks. Weighing myself every day. May 2nd, I was 156, 2 pounds. It didn't go down 2 pounds. It might have went up a pound, down 4 pounds, up 1 pound, up another pound, down 3 pounds, up 5 pounds. So this is what happened. The weight went up and down, up and down. It was very, very frustrating watching this happen and just restricting my diet so much, not enjoying anything anyone else was, right? So sometimes I'd get down on myself and, I'd be like, oh, poor me. But then, I would eat a ribeye steak and say, no, this isn't bad at all. It was just mostly in social situations where I felt, oh, poor me. Social situations where I wasn't eating with another carnivore. When I was eating with somebody who would eat whatever, right? So you do feel a little bit different. So I still stuck with it. I still 100%. I went off of my all meat program 2 times in almost 17 months. One was at my son's wedding where I had 2 glasses of wine. It was another time where it was also with wine, a glass of wine. And both times I got the symptoms of fatigue back. Every single other meal in 17 months, much like many of you, I have only ate beef, chicken, fish, and lamb. So those were the only things that I've eaten. And eggs. Eggs and bacon. So pork. Only animal products. So that takes me to May 2nd of 2025, which was 2.5 months ago. My weight was 156. I've also been noticing this summer, since that time, that some symptoms have been disappearing, specifically the Uthoff syndrome that I talked about. So Uthoff syndrome is something that does not exist in normal situations. It means that the myelin sheath that is around each nerve in my brain is frayed a little bit. And when it's frayed a little bit, when you go into the heat, you get symptoms of MS that come back. Like for me, it was brain fog, it was dizziness, it was like a lethargy, it was total fatigue. And this would happen to me in some way throughout. It happened less last summer, but it still happened a little bit. And I noticed just recently that it's gone, that it's totally, totally gone, which tells me, I mean, a doctor hasn't said this to me, but this is my own thoughts, that if I'm not affected by the heat anymore, it means that my myelin sheath has repaired itself, that it's not even frayed a little bit, which I'm not headed to disease. The insulation on my brain cells are intact. My healing has gone up. At the same time, July 16th, my weight was 148, which means I lost 8 pounds in a little bit more than a month, which has never happened in over a year. Today, my weight was 145. Lost another 3 pounds eating the same stuff that I have been eating for 17 months. And when I ate it before, the weight didn't fall. Now the weight is beginning to drop. I'm very happy about that. Even though that's not why I'm doing this diet, I have to say that losing a little weight is a great side effect. I think that my body is achieving a higher level of healing. I think that the MS symptoms are becoming less and less and less and less, to the fact that now my body is able to release some of this weight that it wasn't willing to do before because it was too busy healing my body. So not only did I have multiple sclerosis, I had rheumatoid arthritis. I'm no longer taking medication for the rheumatoid arthritis. My A1C was between 5.9 and 6.1 on a regular basis. It is now 5.4. So I was pre-diabetic. I don't experience prediabetes anymore. Also, smaller things like plantar fasciitis, arthritis in my lower spine, and sciatica. I was receiving steroid injections for that since 2017 on a pretty regular basis, probably once every 6 or 7 months. I have not had a steroid injection since starting the carnivore diet, so that has healed. It was Anthony Chafee that said, "Don't worry about the weight." And I really tried to listen to him. He said, your body is busy healing things, and it's not going to focus on the weight. Your body's not going to focus on losing weight until you are healed. So I feel pretty good that I'm losing weight, because to me it means it's possible. I mean, I can't say for sure, but it's possible a lot of the things that I've been trying to heal are healing. And now my body's going to prioritize losing weight. My priorities are different now. You know, I turned 60 this year, and I'm very happy to turn 60 because it's much better than the alternative. And I'm here and I'm healthy. I get to do a lot of things. I love to go kayaking. I love to go hiking and walking. I love to go to the gym and lift heavy things. So I'm very, very grateful that I'm able to do those things. And I'm super grateful that my symptoms of MS are nearly gone. All of my symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis are gone. My A1C has dropped. I don't get steroid injections for my spine anymore, and I'm able to live pretty much pain-free, which is wonderful. I'm doing all of this for my health, for my well-being, so that I could live my life and be able to live my life. I'm going to eat this way for as long as I can. Every single day I'll wake up and make that decision. Today I did. And today I eat the carnivore diet. So 25 pounds in 17 months. The key is consistency. The key is being kind of boring with your diet. I'm not saying that it tastes boring, because I enjoy every single meal. but I've gotten a lot of questions of what do you eat in a day? That's kind of boring. Meat. So to say what do you eat in a day, I eat meat and eggs. I don't make any of those carnivore pancakes, carnivore desserts, because I really believe that when I'm looking at a pancake, sorry, Dr. Kiltz, when I look at ice cream, it's not psychologically good for me. It brings me back to the days of the hedonic eating, of eating purely for pleasure and not for sustenance. And that brings me back to the days of the cheat meal, the days of the cheat day, and yo-yo dieting. And the carnivore diet is like the anti-yo-yo. It is consistency. It is eating the same or similar things every single day because that is my species specific diet. For me personally, that is what I eat. And it might be boring for you, but for me, I enjoy it. I get so much pleasure out of eating the way that I eat. Also, the pleasure is how I feel because I get to live my life to its fullest extent in eating the carnivore diet. That may seem crazy to you, and if it does, that's great. I'm happy that it sounds crazy, and I want you to acknowledge that. And I want you to keep watching, and I want you to subscribe to my channel and learn some more crazy things and keep on learning. And look at some of my friends on YouTube and how they're doing and how they're following this crazy diet and the healing that they are getting. I do this so that I can live a healthy, more productive life. But I'm just telling you my story. This is my story. This is what I did. And if it sounds interesting to you, subscribe to my channel and learn more about how the carnivore diet reversed nearly 100% of the symptoms that I have of multiple sclerosis. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next video.